Our planet is a tapestry of breathtaking beauty, woven with threads of vibrant life and dramatic landscapes. There are places that call to the adventurer in all of us, destinations that seem plucked from a dream, islands where life has evolved in isolation, peaks that scrape the very heavens, and forests that pulse with the planet's heartbeat. But with great beauty often comes great responsibility, and sometimes great peril. The very act of visiting these pristine environments can introduce pressures they are ill-equipped to handle. So today I want to take you on a different kind of journey. We will explore 5 of the most stunningly beautiful places on Earth, but we will do so with a new perspective. The Galapagos Islands. The Galapagos Islands. The Galapagos Islands. It was here, amongst the volcanic rock and unique creatures, that Charles Darwin's observations would crystallize into the theory of evolution by natural selection. For centuries, these islands remained a sanctuary, a living laboratory where giant tortoises lumbered through the highlands and marine iguanas basked on ancient lava flows, undisturbed by the outside world. However, this unique Eden is exquisitely fragile. Every ship that arrives, every plane that lands, carries with it the potential for disaster. The introduction of non-native species, hitchhiking on boats or in luggage, can wreak havoc on the native wildlife. The pressure of tourism, the demand for infrastructure, hotels, restaurants, roads, fragments habitats and strains precious resources like fresh water. The Ecuadorian government and the Galapagos National Park Directorate have implemented some of the strictest regulations in the world to manage tourism, yet the pressure continues to mount. The global demand for ecotourism paradoxically places more strain on the very ecosystems it purports to celebrate. The marine reserve surrounding the islands, one of the largest in the world, faces its own set of challenges. Illegal fishing, plastic pollution drifting in on ocean currents, and the warming effects of climate change all threaten the rich underwater world that supports the entire archipelago. The health of the sea and the health of the land are inextricably linked here. Consider the giant tortoises, the ancient sentinels of these islands. Their populations were decimated by whalers and settlers in centuries past. Today, extensive conservation breeding programs are working to bring them back from the brink, but their recovery is a slow, multi-generational process that requires stable, pristine habitats, the very thing that increased human activity puts at risk. The question we must ask ourselves is a difficult one. Does our desire to witness this evolutionary marvel justify the inherent risks our visit poses? Perhaps the future of the Galapagos lies not in ever-increasing visitor numbers, but in a more profound, global commitment to its protection. Supporting the conservation organizations that work tirelessly on the ground, advocating for stronger international protections, and learning about its wonders through the incredible documentary work that has been done, these are all ways to connect with the islands without adding to the pressure on their fragile existence. There is no mountain that captures the human imagination quite like Sagarmatha, the goddess mother of the world, known to most as Mount Everest. For climbers, it represents the ultimate challenge, a test of endurance, courage, and skill against the most extreme forces of nature. The dream of standing on the summit, of looking out across the roof of the world, has called to adventurers for over a century. But the reality of a modern Everest expedition is often far removed from the romantic ideal of pure exploration. The mountain has become, for many, a commercial enterprise. This commercialization has led to a dangerous and now infamous problem: overcrowding. On a clear day during the short climbing window in May, human traffic jams can form in the death zone above 8,000 meters. Here the air is so thin that the human body is slowly dying with every breath. The environment itself is relentlessly hostile. Avalanches can sweep down the slopes with no warning, burying entire sections of the route. The Khumbu Icefall, a chaotic, ever-shifting glacier of ice towers, must be navigated multiple times, each passage a roll of the dice. Furthermore, the physiological toll is immense. At these altitudes, the body simply cannot function properly. Frostbite can claim fingers and toes with frightening speed. The mountain is also bearing the scars of its popularity. Decades of expeditions have left behind a trail of debris. Discarded oxygen bottles, abandoned tents, food packaging, and tragically, the bodies of climbers who never made it down litter the slopes. The ethical considerations weigh heavily as well. The climbing industry is a vital part of the local Sherpa economy, yet it places these incredibly strong and skilled individuals at disproportionate risk. Before dreaming of the summit, one must ask profound questions. Is my presence here contributing to the dangerous overcrowding? Do I have the technical skill and physiological resilience to be here, or am I putting myself, and more importantly, my guides at unacceptable risk? Appreciating its majesty through the stunning films that capture its scale, reading the accounts of the pioneering climbers, and supporting the communities at its base are far safer and arguably more respectful ways to engage with this formidable giant. The Amazon. It is not merely a forest, it is the lungs of our planet, a sprawling, living, breathing entity that covers a vast portion of South America. The call of the Amazon is the call of the wild in its purest form. But the Amazon is not an empty wilderness waiting to be discovered by outsiders. It is a home. For millennia, it has been inhabited by hundreds of distinct indigenous peoples, each with their own unique language, culture, and profound spiritual connection to the forest. This is where the journey for a potential visitor becomes incredibly complex. Entering the Amazon is not like entering a national park. It is entering someone's home, their church, their pharmacy, and their grocery store, all at once. The history of this region is fraught with exploitation and violence against its indigenous inhabitants. When tourism is introduced into this delicate context, it must be handled with the utmost sensitivity. Unregulated tourism can quickly become a form of exploitation. It can commercialize sacred ceremonies, turning profound spiritual practices into a spectacle for paying guests. There is also the very real danger of disease. Many remote communities have little to no immunity to common illnesses like the flu or measles. Respectful travel, if undertaken at all, requires immense preparation. It means choosing operators that are owned by or work in true, equitable partnership with local communities. It means learning about the customs and social etiquette before you arrive. The forest itself demands a different kind of respect. There are countless dangers, from venomous snakes and spiders to diseases carried by insects. Ultimately, the most meaningful way to support the Amazon and its peoples is often not through a personal visit. It is by supporting the organizations that fight for indigenous land rights, that combat deforestation, and that empower local communities to protect their own ancestral lands. Protecting the forest and protecting its people are one and the same goal. Antarctica, the last great wilderness on Earth. It is a continent of superlatives, the coldest, driest, windiest, and highest on average. The desire to see it is understandable. To witness colossal icebergs, blue with the pressure of ages, drifting in a turquoise sea. This continent, however, is not a nation. It belongs to no one. It is governed by the Antarctic Treaty System, a remarkable international agreement that sets the entire continent aside as a natural reserve, devoted to peace and science. Tourism in Antarctica is a relatively recent phenomenon, and it is strictly regulated under the treaty. Despite these regulations, the very presence of tourism introduces risks. The Antarctic ecosystem is incredibly fragile. The introduction of non-native species, even microscopic ones carried on boots or clothing, could have devastating consequences for the local flora and fauna. There is also the risk of pollution. While ships are held to high standards, the potential for a fuel spill in these treacherous, ice-choked waters is a constant threat. The continent is also a crucial barometer for the health of our planet. Protecting the scientific value of Antarctica is paramount. Increased human activity, even for tourism, can interfere with this sensitive research. The footprint of a tourist, however light, is still a footprint. The journey itself carries a significant environmental cost. The Antarctic Treaty is a beacon of international cooperation, but it is under constant pressure. Therefore, while the dream of visiting Antarctica is powerful, we must weigh it against our responsibility to the planet. We can support the vital scientific work being done there through foundations and research institutions. By doing so, we help to uphold the spirit of the Antarctic Treaty, ensuring that this last great wilderness remains a legacy for all humanity, pristine and protected. In the Bay of Bengal lies North Sentinel Island, shrouded in mystery and strict prohibition. From above it looks like paradise, lush forests, white beaches and coral reefs, but it's one of the world's most isolated and dangerous places. Visiting is illegal. The Sentinelese people have lived here for thousands of years, untouched by modern civilization. They fiercely reject outsiders, defending their home from all contact. Outsiders could bring deadly diseases to which they have no immunity. India enforces a strict exclusion zone to protect them. The greatest gift we can give the Sentinelese is the gift of our absence. Our journey today has taken us to the edges of the map and the limits of human endurance. From the cradle of evolution in the Galapagos, to the hostile peak of Everest, from the sacred depths of the Amazon to the frozen heart of Antarctica, and finally, to the forbidden shores of North Sentinel Island. Each of these places holds a unique and powerful beauty, a wonder that rightly captures our imagination. But as we have seen, their beauty is matched by their fragility and the profound complexities that surround them. The desire to travel, to see the world, is a wonderful human impulse. But true exploration in the 21st century requires more than just a passport and a plane ticket. By learning, donating and advocating, we become guardians from afar, ensuring these irreplaceable treasures endure, not as items on a travel checklist, but as vital, thriving parts of our shared global heritage.